I look, I think 150 is in the bag, and I'm just going to stick with that. I think we're going to 150, and I think there could be a positive above that if things go as I think they are going to go.
Mark Yusko giving his 2024 Bitcoin prediction. That was from an interview earlier this year. And in today's clip, we're going to be checking out Mark Yusko in a couple of interviews where he talked about what's coming for Bitcoin next in late 2024. Make sure to stay tuned to the end. This is a great one. And if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We have new Bitcoin and crypto videos coming out every single day. My name is Aaron from Bitcoin Bros. Make sure to check out our Patreon to join our exclusive crypto community where we keep you guys up to date with the most recent crypto Bitcoin news and give you guys the best alpha in crypto. So check that out. Let's go ahead and see what Mark has to say about what's coming next for Bitcoin.
I think this 2024 is going to surprise to the downside. I think, again, not collapse, not depression, but I just think that as everyone was on one side of the boat last year, negative, I think everybody's come back on the other side of the boat, positive. And yet just about every indicator that you can look at from a macro perspective, leading economic indicators just made new cycle lows. I mean, like the lowest in the last 4 cycles. In fact, I don't know that we've ever, I think this is right. I don't think we've ever had this many consecutive negative readings of LEI ever. Like crazy. And so that's one. PMIs are down. Now, PMIs have turned. Raul's been talking about this. I know you were just talking with Jim Bianco. Jim may have been talking about PMIs. But I think there's a lot of macro data that's a little negative. I think first quarter GDP is going to surprise a lot of people how low it is, but that's a cyclical thing. And even though they seasonally adjust, they don't seem to do it right. So it's always the lowest quarter. And I think they could be closing in on 0. I don't know that it'll go negative. Oh, right. We have the greatest wealth and income inequality in the history of our republic. It's pretty impressive. And when you start bailing out the people at the top and handing them money through like this, like if a bank can borrow from one side of the house and lend to the other side of the same house and make a spread, that's a riskless transaction. That's literally a government handout. And when they vote to give money to other governments and then it comes back to the defense companies that they own pieces of, or when this one crazy, when Ms. Pelosi, like while she's in session on a bill that has to do with semiconductors, her husband is trading NVIDIA options like in real time. That corruption will lead to what? It will lead to a need for your other prediction, which is you got to give people money to afford stuff. And so what happens is as you devalue the currency, prices start to rise. Well, the problem is they don't rise linearly. They rise parabolically. And again, I don't want to predict a Weimar-like, but that's where you get. You will eventually get to that point where the only way for the average person to survive is through a government handout. And then it's not even about survival as much as it is just vote for me, just keep me in power. And so I got to give you enough free electricity, free gasoline, spending money, UBI, whatever it is. Although I haven't heard the term UBI for a while. It's interesting. It was really hot. Like if I look at Google searches for UBI, there was that spike maybe 18 months ago. I don't hear people talk about that anymore. But I'm very worried about the devaluation. Now, what that does for one of my other predictions, what that does for Bitcoin prices, yeah, good stuff. this is the year. This is the year I've been talking about. This is crazy. I've been talking about this. I went back and I searched through Twitter to find when I started talking about this. I've actually been talking about this since 2018, which is hard to believe. That's 6 years ago. I mean, that's a long, but I've been talking about this cycle, this 14-year cycle that people are just sick of hearing about. But now it's here. I mean, we're days. We're a couple days away from 2024. And 2024 is the beginning. And this first year, 2024, we've got the halving, which takes the fair value from 51, 52. Let's just round it to 50 to 100. Okay. So 100. Then we get the beginning in June of the parabolic move of crypto fall. So we transition from crypto summer, which is that migration toward fair value, to the parabolic, oh my God, FOMO, everybody in the pool. And I've said this time, I think there's less leverage in the system. So maybe we only get 1.5 fair value in this cycle instead of the 2.3. That's max, and those guys are at 250, whatever. I'm probably in the 150 range. That's just on supply and demand of the halving and the change in the available supply.
When those financial advisors got the memo that they had to get off zero, right? They had to get off zero. 10 basis points. That's $30 billion. Okay. $30 billion would have an impact on the price of Bitcoin. But 1%, which is not even a crazy number, 1% is 300 billion. 300 billion is more money than has ever been, more currency, more fiat than has ever been converted into Bitcoin in the first 15 years of its life. People say, no, it's $1 trillion asset. I said, yeah, but $1 trillion has not gone in.
Right.
Only a couple hundred billion have actually converted into Bitcoin. Okay. The rest is bid-ask spread and appreciation and network increase, Metcalfe's law increase. So if you add 300 billion to an asset that hasn't had 300 billion go in, big moves were going to happen. And so, but your point about, well, which institutions were also going to come in, look, my whole life was about institutional investing. I worked for 2 big allocators. I was paid to give money to these firms. I mean, all the people that everybody talks about now, Druckenmiller. I had money with Stan Druckenmiller when he was at Soros, when he left Soros, when he ran Duquesne, and Howard Marks. In the news, I was one of the I and we were one of the first investors with Howard when he spun out of Trust Company of the West. So I'm just old. I've been around a long time, and I've allocated these people, so I know, one, how much capital they have, 2, how forward-looking they are, and 3, the type of liquidity they need in order to put their capital to work, because we're talking billions, not thousands or millions.